In a world where emperors held ultimate power, where their edicts could shape the fates of millions, where the sword was mightiest of all weapons, there existed one that proved far more potent: a pen. For in the grand halls of Chinese history, it wasn't the generals or the merchants who resonated the loudest, but the scholars. And their influence stemmed from a system that defied even the mightiest ruler: the Imperial Examination System, the longest-running engine of power ever known. Now let's travel back in time to the golden age of Chinese history, when the Great Wall stood firm and the Silk Road thrived. Picture this: millions upon millions of young men hunched over ancient scrolls, pouring ink onto delicate bamboo slips in the quiet solitude of their rooms. Their faces illuminated by the soft glow of oil lamps, their eyes reflecting the burning desire for more than just knowledge, for social mobility, for power. This spectacle wasn't limited to a single dynasty or a handful of rulers. It played out consistently over a span of 1,300 years, from the Sui dynasty all the way to the fall of the Qing. These weren't just studious youths seeking wisdom. They were participants in a massive game orchestrated by the emperors, a game where the stakes were incredibly high. The year is 581 AD, and China is emerging from a turbulent era of disunity. The northern and southern dynasties have come to an end, and the Sui dynasty is set to reunify the land. Now Yang Jian, the future Emperor Wen, has a vision for his empire. He wants a government rooted in Confucian principles, efficient and talented officials who won't be swayed by family connections or wealth. Thus begins the Sui dynasty's experiment in selecting officials based on merit, a concept so radical it would forever alter the course of Chinese history. Fast forward a century, and we find ourselves in the Tang dynasty, an era synonymous with China's cultural zenith. The examination system, initially a modest affair involving just a few hundred candidates during the Sui, has expanded exponentially. By the time of the Tang, it's become a nationwide event, drawing in tens of thousands of aspirants. Under the pragmatic rule of Emperor Taizong, the exams become the primary means of selecting officials. This isn't about filling government positions, it's about perpetuating the dynasty. But why? Why did these emperors go to such lengths? What was it about these exams that held such importance? Welcome to our ongoing series on Lost Worlds, where we shed light on civilizations and systems that once dominated, but are now vanished. Today we're diving into the Imperial Examination System, a mechanism that wove itself into the very fabric of Chinese society, shaping its social structure, its intellectual landscape, and ultimately its fate. You might be wondering why we're talking about an exam system in the context of a lost world. After all, exams are a part of daily life for many of us. But the scope and influence of the imperial examinations were unparalleled. It wasn't just about grades and rankings. It was a tool of control, a means to maintain social order, and an instrument to shape the minds of a populace. During the Tang and Song dynasties, the exams took on a new dimension. It wasn't enough for candidates to simply memorize Confucian texts. They had to demonstrate an understanding of its core philosophies, its ethical dilemmas, and its societal prescriptions. The examination system became a crucible for molding individuals, a process that went beyond imparting knowledge and delved into the realm of ideological indoctrination. Imagine being thrust into a competition where the winner's circle was so exclusive that mere success wasn't enough. You had to ascend to the very top to gain entry. And this wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon of scholarship, often spanning decades. This is the world of the imperial examinations, where the true victors were those who could navigate not just the complexities of Confucian texts, but also the intricacies of power. To truly appreciate the impact of the imperial examination system, we must understand the sheer scale of its operation. We're talking about an academic juggernaut that spanned over 1,000 years, outliving numerous dynasties and leaving an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of countless individuals. Picture this: millions of candidates, each armed with a brush and scroll, battling it out in a war of wits, vying for a limited number of positions. These weren't your typical office jobs. These were the keys to power, the levers that controlled the very destiny of the empire. To win this war required dedication, strategy, and an unwavering focus that bordered on obsession. Let's pull back the curtain and offer you a glimpse into the life of a scholar official. Imagine toiling for years, even decades, poring over ancient texts, deciphering their hidden meanings, and committing them to memory. Your world revolves around the classics, the Analects, the Mencius, the doctrine of the mean. They're not just books, they're your lifeline to success. Every word, every verse becomes seared into your memory banks. Once you step into the examination hall, it's a battle of attrition, not just of intellect but of endurance. Days turn into nights and weeks into months as you're cut off from the outside world, isolated in a bubble of intense scholarly combat. The pressure is immense, the competition fierce, and the stakes higher than you can imagine. The relentless ticking of the clock echoes the urgency of your plight. Time is your greatest enemy, and the slightest lapse in concentration could spell doom for your dreams. And then comes the moment of truth, the announcement of the results. The tension is palpable as names are read out and the lucky few are ushered into the next stage. For many, this is the culmination of a lifetime's work, a dream realized. But for the majority, it's a crushing disappointment, a testament to the unforgiving nature of this scholarly battlefield. To rise in the ranks of the imperial bureaucracy was a dream cherished by many, yet attainable only by a fortunate few. The allure of the scholar official's life was undeniable. With each promotion, one moved closer to the heart of power, becoming a trusted advisor to the emperor, shaping policies and influencing decisions that could affect millions. But the road to the top was fraught with challenges. As one climbed the ladder of success, the expectations mounted. Upholding the Confucian ideals of benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and faithfulness was not just a matter of personal integrity, it was a matter of state policy. A scandal, or a misstep, could not only ruin one's own career, but bring shame upon the entire dynasty. Now, despite the intense competition and rigorous exams, the lure of success was too strong to resist. It drew in aspirants from all walks of life, united by a common goal, the coveted title of scholar official. These weren't merely academics, they were future leaders, the architects of the empire's destiny. As you delve deeper into the world of imperial examinations, you'll discover that it wasn't just about the prestige and power. It was about serving a greater good, upholding the Confucian legacy, and ensuring the stability of the dynasty. Each successful candidate carried with them the hopes and aspirations of their families, their communities, and ultimately their nation. Now picture this. You've passed the grueling exams, navigated the treacherous waters of court politics, and finally ascended to the position of a scholar official. Congratulations, you've reached the pinnacle of academic achievement in ancient China, but your journey doesn't end here. It's just the beginning. You're now at the helm of affairs, entrusted with the responsibility of governing, of making decisions that impact the lives of millions. The weight of this responsibility can be overwhelming, but you're not alone. Behind you stands the legacy of countless scholars who've walked this path before you. Their footsteps echo through the corridors of history, guiding you, challenging you to uphold their standards. Your decisions will be scrutinized, your actions debated, and your motives questioned. Maintaining the delicate balance of power, ensuring social harmony, and promoting economic prosperity are all in a day's work for you now. The pressure is immense, but so is the satisfaction that comes with serving the empire. Each edict you issue, each policy you implement, each injustice you right contributes to the greater good, to the continuation of the dynasty and the well-being of its people. In a world where chaos is ever present, you are the champion of order, bringing stability and predictability to the lives of those you govern. The trust placed in you by the emperor, the reverence from your peers, and the gratitude of the populace are your rewards. But it's not all accolades and adulation. There's a darker side to this existence, one that few are willing to discuss. The constant struggle to maintain power, the ceaseless efforts to quell rebellions, and the unending battles against natural disasters take a toll. You're not just a scholar official. You're a soldier, a diplomat, and a humanitarian all rolled into one. Yet you persevere, drawing strength from the knowledge that you're not just serving yourself, but serving a cause greater than any individual, the prosperity and longevity of the Chinese Empire. It's important to note that this system wasn't without its flaws. Despite its initial intent to provide equal opportunity, it inadvertently created a breeding ground for corruption and stagnation. The focus on rote learning and regurgitating Confucian ideals discouraged innovation and critical thinking. It became less about finding the best talent and more about perpetuating a rigid social hierarchy. Imagine living in a world where your social standing was predetermined, where your opportunities were dictated by birth rather than ability. That was the reality for many during the later stages of the Imperial Examination System. But the irony was that this system, designed to promote social mobility, had ironically become a tool for maintaining social rigidity. Now, while the exams did provide a platform for talented individuals from humble backgrounds to rise to prominence, the vast majority of scholar officials still came from wealthy, well-connected families. These privileged candidates had access to the finest tutors, the most extensive libraries, and the luxury of time. They could afford to dedicate their entire lives to studying for the exams without the pressure of financial necessity. For the less affluent, the situation was starkly different. Many came from generations of scholars, their families' entire identity and livelihood revolving around passing the exams. The pressure was immense, not just to succeed, but to excel and secure a better future for their families. It's hard to overstate the impact of these societal pressures. The relentless pursuit of success led to desperate measures. Cheating, bribery, and exam rigging became rampant, eroding the very foundations of the system. Now, if you're enjoying this journey through time and want to ensure you don't miss any of our future episodes, we urge you to take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Don't miss out on future explorations of lost worlds. After over a millennium of shaping China's social and political landscape, the Imperial Examination System finally breathed its last breath in 1905, during the twilight years of the Qing dynasty. Its demise was a symptom of a larger malaise that had been afflicting the empire for some time. Decades of corruption, stagnation, and resistance to reform had taken their toll. By the early 20th century, the system's relevance had become a contentious issue. Critics argued that it was outdated, elitist, and a hindrance to progress. The reformers sought a more inclusive system that was attuned to the needs of a rapidly changing world. Ironically, the very system that had maintained the empire's stability for so long was now seen as a threat to that stability. The abolishment of the exams marked a significant shift in Chinese history, signaling the end of an era. Yet its legacy lived on. Even after its formal demise, the ghost of the Imperial Examination System lingered, its influence deeply ingrained in the collective consciousness of Chinese society. The emphasis on education, the veneration of the scholar official, and the competitive spirit of the populace were all testaments to the system's enduring impact. As China transitioned into the 20th century, the civil service exams continued to hold sway over the minds of many. Even in a rapidly modernizing world, the allure of the traditional system was hard to shake off. The idea of a meritocratic government, though utopian, remained an ideal that many aspired to. Now, while the Imperial Examination System may have been officially abolished, its influence transcended its formal existence. It became a metaphor for the Chinese obsession with education, the importance of government service, and the value of Confucian ideals. In a world where change was the only constant, the exams represented a semblance of stability. They offered a structured path to success, a tangible way to climb the social ladder, and a means to contribute to the nation. The dream of passing the exams, of becoming a scholar official, continued to capture the imagination of countless young Chinese. Even today, the legacy of the Imperial Examination System resonates. The emphasis on standardized testing, the proliferation of civil service exams, and the glorification of the educated elite are all echoes of a bygone era. The system's emphasis on meritocracy continues to influence China's social and political dynamics. But perhaps the most profound impact of the Imperial Examination System is the way it shaped the Chinese mindset. The relentless pursuit of knowledge, the respect for tradition, and the commitment to public service are all part of a cultural legacy that can be traced back to the ancient halls of the imperial exams. Now, the story of the Imperial Examination System is more than just a historical account. It's a testament to the human spirit's unyielding desire for order, progress, and enlightenment. It's a reminder that even the most entrenched systems can evolve and adapt to changing circumstances. And it's a cautionary tale about the perils of rigidity, corruption, and the abuse of power. So as we bring this episode to a close, we leave you with a final thought. The empire may have fallen, but its exam still lives on in every desk, in every dream, in every sleepless night. The legacy of the Imperial Examination System is not just a part of China's past. It's a thread that runs through the fabric of Chinese society, shaping its present and influencing its future.